Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this, our second video in the lecture series on accounting for overheads. In the previous video, our last example was looking at the apportionment of overheads on a fair basis. And one thing we learned in that video was that there was in the last example, there was um, a service center, the canteen, which was offering services to two production departments. All right. However, the canteen was not being serviced by any of those departments. In this particular video, we are going to have a situation where the where a service center is also receiving services from the departments at which it is offering its services. So there is some reciprocal arrangement. All right. We need to determine now how much of the costs are going to be reapportioned by the end of the day to the production cost centers after we take into consideration the effect of the reciprocal activity or the reciprocity that would be taking place between the service cost centers. Now, this is the information as you are seeing in the screen, where we have got two production departments, department G and H, as well as two service centers, the stores and maintenance. Now, the allocated and apportioned overheads of all these four centers are $70,000 for G, $30,000 for H, $20,000 for S, the stores, and $15,000 for the maintenance department. Now, by the service centers for other departments, you can see that the stores offers 50%. Okay, the stores offers let me try to get a pen. 50% to the G department, to production department G, and 30% to production department H. It then offers 20% to the maintenance service center. Then the maintenance department itself offers 45% to G, 40% to H, and 15% to the stores services center. Now the question is, reapportion service center costs to departments, the production departments, using the repeated distribution method and the algebraic method. All right. You will discover in many different textbooks that both these methods are reciprocal methods. Okay, they are reciprocal methods. Although the word reciprocal in other textbooks you might discover it to refer to the algebraic method, while in other textbooks it is referred to as the repeated distribution method. Now, the algebraic method is the method that makes use of simultaneous equations. So we'll be making use of equations. Okay, simple algebra, which we know. All right, so let's start with the repeated distribution method. All right. I hope my computer is not going to misbehave. Okay, repeated distribution method. The repeated distribution method, okay, we need about 4 columns. All right, and we've got product G, department G, and then production department Y, H. Then we've got the stores and maintenance. Okay, so these are the the departments which we, or the centers which we have. Okay, now from the question we get the amount of overheads already allocated. The overheads already allocated, and we've got 70, 30, 20, 15. So that's 70,000, 30,000, 20,000, and 15,000. All right. Then we need to then, because by the end of the day, it is about reapportionment of service center costs. So let us start by reapportioning the stores center. So we are going to remove this 20,000 from the store center. All right, but we need the removal is, we want to reapportion the 20,000 to other departments, and we have been given the basis in our question. All right, the service, the stores center is offering 50% of its services to the production department G. So let us first, all right, let us first reapportion to G. All right, so this process rather is called the recharging. Okay, we are recharging the stores. All right, we are recharging the stores. So to G, we're giving G 50% of the store's costs. So 50% of 20,000 is 10,000. Then to H, we are giving 30%, as you can see in the question. We are giving H 30%. So we come here and say 30% of 20,000, this is 6,000. All right, and then to the maintenance department, we are giving 20%, as you can see there. So we come here and say 20% of 20,000, that's 4,000. Okay, so obviously here we are having a 0, right? And then we now have to move on to the maintenance department, and if we add up, we are already having 19,000 of the costs. But we need now to remove the 19,000 and distribute it to the other service, to the other centers. Obviously, we'll be left with a 0 there. All right, when we do that, how do we apportion? We are led again by the question. We know that from the question, the maintenance is offering 45 to G, 40 to H, 15 to H. So we just use those percentages. So let's first allocate to production department G 45% of the amount, the 19,000. Remember, this stage is called recharge maintenance. All right, so we are recharging the maintenance department. Recharge maintenance. All right, so and to J, we are offering 45% of 19,000. That's 8,550. Then what is the percentage to production department H? That's 40. 40% of 19,000, that's 7,600. And then to the stores, it's how much? 15% of 19,000, 2,850. Okay, we then have to remove this, because by the end of the day we have to remove this cost from the service centers. So we have got 2,850. We have to remove this one, and we must be left with a 0. Okay, so how do we portion the 2,850? We just have to follow the same principle. All right, we need to follow the same principle. Okay, and what is the principle? All right, now the principle is very, very clear. All right, very clear. Okay, we can see there that the stores offers 50% of the services to G, 30% to H, and 20% to the maintenance. So we just follow. Let's start by recharging the stores to G. Okay, and the machine is starting to misbehave. So recharge stores. All right, and how do we recharge? We give 50% of that amount of 2,850, that is 1,425 to G, and then the other amount, 30%, is given to H, 30% of 2,850, and that should be 855. Then we give 20% of the, because according to this question, that's 20% goes to the 20% here goes to the maintenance. So 20% of 2,850, this should be 570. Okay, once you reach that, you can see that here there's a 0. Then we have to deduct the 570 from the maintenance department, so that we are left with a 0 here. All right, so then we have to share the 570. So we have to recharge maintenance. So you can see that this is a repeated distribution. All right, so maintenance, how do we recharge you? We have to be led by the question. We follow 45, 40, 15. So let's say 45% of 570, and this should be 257. And then 40% of 570, that's 228. Then 15% of 570, that's 85. All right, we then have to remove the 85. Okay, we have to remove the 85, and obviously here there will be a 0. All right, if we remove the 85, there will be a 0 there, and we have to follow. How do we recharge stores? We recharge stores using the 50, 30, 20. Okay, 50%, 30%, and 20%. So 50% of 85, obviously this is 42.5, that is 43. And then the 30% of 85, this should be 25. Okay, and then we are left with 17. Then we have to remove the 17. Okay, and if we remove the 17, we apportion the 17, so it will be recharge. Which one now? Maintenance. And we'll be following the maintenance apportionment of 45, 40, 15. So 45% of 17, how much is 45% of 17? We are at 8. Okay, and the 40% of 17, that's 7. And then 15% of 17, we are looking at 2. Okay, so here there is a 0, and then you can see as you continue with you have to continue until you reach a point where there is nothing left. So we need to remove the 2 here. All right, if we remove the 2, we are left with a 0 there. All right, and we have to apportion these 2 based on the sharing percentages. And the sharing percentage for the stores, the recharge of the stores, we've got 50% to production, and then you could, that's 50% of 2, it's 1, and obviously the remainder is 1. Okay, so you then have to add up all these costs as both the service costs, the service centers to have zeros. Okay, as both have zero balances, then your reapportionment has been done, has been completed. You then have to add up all of the costs in each columns of the 2 production departments. So let us try to add up and get the amounts. So the final amounts should look like this. This is G, H, then stores, then maintenance. Okay, so the total overheads should now be 90,284 and 44,716, and here we've got a 0, then we are done. Now let's move on to the algebraic method. Now the algebraic method. Okay, do I have enough space here? Okay, for the algebraic method, I think I must squeeze the space there because we need to move. Okay, now for the algebraic part of it, let me try to erase some of these things because they might end up confusing us. All right, now the algebraic method is based on the principles of simultaneous equations, as I have already highlighted. So we've got 2 service centers. We've got service center stores and service center maintenance. So we can formulate these small rules. So we let stores be S and maintenance be M. Okay, that's very important. So we are going to say stores. This is department S, and this one is that's department S, and this one is department M. Okay, I've got department S and department M. All right, now we can as well see that the cost of the stores center, all right, the service cost of this the cost of the stores center can be, because the stores is offering 15% of its services to the maintenance department. Not really, but the maintenance department is offering the stores department 15%. Okay, so in other words, the cost of S of the stores department, the cost of this department, where the pens, okay, the cost of S should equal to the 20,000, okay, the 20,000, as you can see in the table there, the 20,000, this one, plus 15% of the services from the maintenance department. So can I say plus 15%? 15% is the same as 0.15 of M, of the maintenance department's costs, services, all right, of the maintenance department's services, all right, and those services are part of the cost to the stores department. All right, then cost of M, cost of the maintenance department, equal to the 15,000 given in the question, the 15,000 plus the 20% of the store's services. So we come here and say 15,000 plus 0.2 S. Okay, I'm sure you are comfortable with the way I determined these equations. So let us copy these equations to this part, okay, and I think all right, let's try to squeeze them here. We've got S is equal to 20,000 plus 0.15 M, and we have got M, which is equal to 15,000 plus 0.2 S. All right, and this is equation 1, this is equation 2. All right, then we then need to just try to make S subject of the formula. But how do we do that given the two equations? Then we need to at least substitute one of the equations into the variable in another. So for example, we need to replace M. We need to replace M in equation 1. Let us try to replace M in equation 1. So we know that equation 1 is this one, okay? All right, so if we replace M in equation 1, it means we are going to have S is equal to 20,000 plus 0.15 M, and we are replacing M, so we are going to say 15,000 plus 0.2 S plus 0.2 S. All right, so S is equal to 20,000 plus 0.15 multiplied by 15,000, and that should be 2,250 plus 0.15 multiplied by 0.2 S, that should be 0.03 S. Okay, remember the last character there is not 5, is S. Okay, now when we do that, we then have to solve for S. So let us make S subject of the formula. All right, so if we say s, let us remove the number that has got an s, which is on the right side of the equation. So we say s minus 0.03 s, we get 0.97. Okay, 0.97 s is equal to 20,000 plus 2,250, that is 22,250. Therefore, s is equal to 22,250 over 0.97, and we have got 22,000. It becomes 22,938. Okay, so that's our value for s. Now, once we know the value of s, we then have to replace s. Okay, let us now try to replace s in equation 2. All right, so let us replace s in equation 2. So replace s in equation 2. So replace s in equation 2. All right, so we know that our equation 2 is m is equal to 15,000 plus 0.2 s. So m is equal to 15,000 plus 0.2 s, and we want to replace s with the value which we have already determined here. So s is 22,938. Okay, so obviously m would become 588. That's the value for our m. Now, once we did this, we now know the values of m and s. We then have to come back to our reciprocal table. Okay, we've got department G, department H, and then stores and maintenance. So this is why I said the reciprocal method is going to be in both of these techniques. All right, so the cost already allocated from the question, that's 70,000 for G, 30,000 for H, 20,000 for stores, and 15,000 for maintenance. All right, and then we then have to do some bit of recharging. Okay, we need to recharge because we know that we need to remove the cost of these save centers and reapportion them to the production departments. So we have determined that the stores, we need to recharge the stores with the amount which we determined, and we determined that the stores were having cost of 22,938. So we recharge stores with that amount, 22,938. Okay, so 22,938. All right, and if we subtract this amount, obviously we're not going to be left with a zero, but there is going to be an extra amount. Okay, that's going to be an extra amount, and that amount is 2,938. Okay, All right, so we put it there. All right, we put it there, don't worry. But let us apportion the 22,938 as it is using our apportionment percentages from the question. All right, the stores costs are apportioned as 50%, 50%, 30%, 20%. So 50% of 22,938 is 11,469. 11,469. Then 30% of 22,938 is going to be 6,881. Then 20% of 22,938 is 4,588. Okay, forgive me, my pen is not clear there. Okay, now we need to reapportion, to recharge. Okay, we need to recharge the maintenance department. Okay, we need to recharge the maintenance department. All right, but how do we do that? We need to then have to add up. All right, we need to add up here. We get 19,588. Okay, and one thing I like about the algebraic, all the figures will be coming back as they are. All right, will be coming back such that even if you forget, for example, for the stores, even if you forget to just deduct 20 minus that one and get this amount, you could as well get this amount through reapportionment, as you will see. All right, so here if we add this figure and this figure, we get this figure which is equal to that figure. All right, that's the value of m. All right, and you know that we need to remove this amount. Okay, we need to reapportion the 19,000 here. All right, we need to remove this amount. So sorry, all right, we need to remove the amount. All right, now the process of removing this amount, this is the reason why I want just to put the bracket, because by the end of the day we are going to just remain with a zero there. All right, or we could just have used the normal mathematical way of doing things. All right, in other words, what I'm trying to say is we need to remove this by the end of the day and we should be left with a zero there. Okay, then we need to reapportion. Okay, we know that the percentages of reapportionment, according to the question, we need to reapportion based on 45%, 40%, and 15%. So 45% of 19,588. Here we are now recharge maintenance. We are recharging maintenance. So you could see that 45% of 19,588 is 8,815. Okay, and then the 40% of 19,588 should be let me just calculate of mine. 7,835. Then lastly, the 15% of 19,588 is 2,938. Okay, so you can see that this one now, where I put a star here, you could see that this was in negative because 20,000 minus 22,000, already this was in negative. All right, and then after we reapportion the maintenance center costs, you could see that here we are now having a zero. All right, we are now having a zero, and then we have to add up the cost of this production as cost centers, and we should get our totals for this part. That's 90,284, and for the H department, that's 44,716. These are the total costs, total overhead costs. Okay, so in this case, you can see that the production departments G and H are now bearing all the costs of the service center costs of the service centers. So in this case, we have reapportioned. We have done the reapportionment as required by the question. All right, and I also want you to appreciate that these costs are similar whether we are using the algebraic method or the repeated distribution method. As you can see here, the total cost for the department G were 90,284 from the algebraic method, but they are also similar to those in the repeated distribution method. Also here, the repeated distribution method determined that department H had 44,716 production costs in total after the reapportionment, and these are similar to these figures as obtained from the algebraic method. Now let us just look at this past exam question and see what we can get out of it. Okay, the following extract of information is available concerning the 4 cost centers of EG Limited. All right. Then we've got the information, the service cost center canteen. All right. It is a service cost center. So we've got 3 production departments: machinery, finishing, packing. Number of employees 762, number of indirect employees 321, and overhead allocated and apportioned, we've got 28,500, 18,300, 8,960, 8,400. The overhead cost of the canteen is to be reapportioned to the production cost centers on the basis of the number of employees in each production cost center. All right, so we are told point blank that the overhead cost of the canteen is to be reapportioned based on the number of employees in each production cost center. After the reapportionment, what is the total overhead cost of the packing department to the nearest dollar? So we have been told clearly that we need to use the number of employees as the basis of overhead reapportionment. Reapportionment. So we need to follow that instruction so that we do not find ourselves in wonderland. So let us first determine the number of employees in the packing department. How many employees are there in the packing department? So you can see that the packing department has got 2 direct employees and 1 indirect employee. So the total of employees is equal to 3, okay, in the packing department. Okay, now we need to determine the number of employees in all production departments. The number of employees in all production departments, you can see that here we've got 7, 3, that's 10, 16, 18, plus the last 3, that's 21. So total employees is equal to 21. Okay, so the basis, the proportion that we should use is actually 3/21. So for whatever reapportionment, the percentage related to the packaging department should be 3/21. Okay, now how much of the service cost center canteen should be allocated to the packaging department? The packaging department, we are told, should follow this, okay, this rate or this proportion, okay, because we are going to base whatever reapportionment we are going to do using the number of employees, and the number of employees in the packaging department is 3, and the total number of all employees which we have is 21. So 3/21 multiplied by the cost of the canteen. The canteen costs were 8,400 is given here. All right, the canteen costs were 8,400. So this means we only have to consider these figures. All right, so we come here and say canteen costs apportioned to packing department should be 3/21 multiplied by 8,400, and this should be 1,200. Then we have to consider, because the question is saying, after the reapportionment, what is the total overhead cost of the packing department to the nearest dollar? So we need to consider the already allocated costs of the packaging department. These were 8,960. So we come to the drawing board and say plus overheads already. Okay. My spelling for already is not pleasing. Already allocated, this 8,960. So the total should be 10,160. Okay, and this from our answers should be D. Okay, this is how you should have attacked this question, and I'm very, very, very confident that, ladies and gentlemen, you have gained all the skills you required to ace questions linked to overhead, absorption, overhead apportionment, overhead allocation. Okay, although we didn't do much about the over and under absorption, I'm sure you can as well refer to our other videos in the series uh, for such knowledge. But for now, I'm very confident when it comes to the computation involved in the reapportionment of service cost centers to production, of service cost center costs to production departments. You guys are now champions in that area. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, may the good Lord's countenance continue to shine upon you. I am signing out. Thank you.